purpose of this video is to demonstrate the 4-person canvas hose lay. En route to the fire, the crew leader will allocate roles to each member. The driver will be the pump operator, as the driver will be the last crew member out of the truck. Once the truck is in position, the driver will set the engine revs to 1200 RPM and secure the cab by closing all of the windows and cabin door as they exit the truck. The side doors on the mid-deck must also be closed. All crew members must climb off the truck backwards and maintain 3 points of contact. The 4 roles are nozzle person, assistant nozzle person, shut-off person, aka clamp person or hose carrier, and the pump operator. The person that has assisted the driver guiding them in will then start the pump. The nozzle person and the assistant will activate the live reel and proceed to extinguish the fire by starting at a safe anchor point and working on one flank of the fire. The fire supervisor may decide which flank to attack first. The nozzle person will proceed along the edge of the fire until the live reel is fully extended. Meanwhile, the clamp person and pump operator will set up the canvas hose and lay flat hose in preparation for the first extension of the canvas hose. Once the hose is connected, the clamp person will take the join and the nozzle of the lay flat out to the nozzleman at the end of the live reel. Once the canvas hose is fully extended from the back of the truck, the pump operator will turn on the water to feed the canvas hose. The nozzle person's assistant will then turn the nozzle on in preparation for handing over the new nozzle to the nozzle person. Once water is at the lay flat nozzle, the live reel nozzle will be turned off at the nozzle. The pump operator will take the nozzle from the live reel and roll the hose in when time permits. Meanwhile, the nozzle person and assistant will work along the edge of the fire and extend the lay flat to its full extent. At this point, a new canvas hose is added, and this process is repeated until the fire is contained or the crew have expended all of their remaining canvas hoses. To add a length of canvas hose, the clamp person sets up at the joint between the last length of the canvas hose and the lay flat hose. The clamp person prepares to clamp the hose about 45 centimeters back from the joint. They open up the next canvas to be attached with the center of the hose running away towards the fire and the outside pointing back towards the hose line. The clamp person only shuts the water off following the water off command from the nozzle person. The nozzle person will secure the area around them and will send their assistant back to the clamp person. The pump operator is responsible for setting water pressure and monitoring the truck. A pressure of 90 to 100 psi is normally used. The pressure may need to be increased if pumping uphill or if a large number of hoses have been run out. The pump operator will also assist the shut-off person with connecting the first canvas and lay flat hoses. The pump operator carries a portable fireground radio so that they can communicate with the nozzle person's assistant and officer in charge. The shut-off person is responsible for adding additional lengths of canvas hose. They will return to the truck to get additional lengths of hoses as required. New lengths of hose are added between the last canvas hose and the lay flat hose. The shut-off person will ensure that the work area at the end of the last canvas hose is clear and will set up ready to add the new length of canvas once the nozzle person gives the command water off. The nozzle person's assistant will pick up the end of the new canvas hose and walk back to the nozzle person. The new length of hose will unfurl as they go. Once the new length of canvas hose has been fully extended, the shut-off person should gradually release the clamp and allow the water to flow again. The nozzle person is responsible for extinguishing the fire edge with efficient use of water, aiming the water jet along the edge of the fire rather than across it. The nozzle person selects an appropriate flow rate. 100 liters per minute is usually used. The appropriate spray pattern is selected. The nozzle can be set to power cone, jet, or fog for protection against radiant heat. If the nozzle pattern becomes uneven or erratic, the nozzle person should flush the nozzle. The nozzle person's assistant is responsible for assisting the nozzle person by dragging the hose for them and addressing any snags. The nozzle person's assistant will return to the end of the lay flat hose to assist the shut-off person to add the additional length of canvas hose. The nozzle person's assistant will then extend the new length of canvas hose and return to assisting the nozzle person. The nozzle person's assistant carries a portable fireground radio so that they can communicate with the pump operator and the officer in charge.
Yeah, Jeff, we've contained the fire and we're packing up. Can you turn the water off, please?
Once the fire has been contained, all gear will need to be packed up and returned to the truck. Nozzles should always be disconnected and never dragged along the ground. Hoses to be brought back in should be drained of water hand over hand at waist height. Hoses should be secured around the waist prior to dragging back. Canvas hose will be rolled up using the hose winder in a figure of 8. Once wound up, the two ends should be connected and placed into the center of the hose. The hose is then tied with the rope supplied and the hose stored in its correct locker. It's okay to store hoses wet. Lay flat hose. Locate the center of the lay flat hose. This is marked. Drag the hose back to the truck from the center of the hose with the hose around your waist or by your side and carrying the nozzle. The lay flat is secured by looping the end of the canvas hose on the dead reel around the center of the lay flat, then manually, in freewheel, winding the hose reel one full turn and then rewind by engaging the hydraulic hose winder. Wind the hose evenly across the hub. The aim is to have the two ends of the lay flat even at the truck. Attach one end to the nozzle and secure back in its holder. The other end is secured on top of the nozzle under the bungee cord. Stow all equipment into the appropriate lockers before departure. It is the driver's responsibility to make sure that all lockers have been closed securely and that all equipment is secure before departure. If threatened by a burnover, the pump operator should sound the siren. The button to activate the siren is located inside the cab. The nozzle person should shut off the nozzle, place the nozzle on the ground, and the crew should return to the truck, walking briskly but without running, unless at immediate risk. The pump operator should count the crew in and switch off the pump as the last crew member reaches the truck. The emergency sprays can be activated by pressing any of the 3 red buttons located at the back of the truck, in the mid-deck, or in the cabin. During training, the button located in the cabin is usually used. If the sprays have been activated before the crew are in the cabin, the crew need to take care mounting the truck as the steps may be slippery. Once in the cab, the crew should activate the emergency sprays, turn off the siren, roll down the heat protective blinds, and then call the officer in charge on the fireground radio to advise that the truck is under threat of burnover.
Yeah, Terry, we're currently experiencing a burnover on the southern side of the 1989 plantation at Iron Swamp. All crew are accounted for, over.
Yeah, Roger. OFO 34 Foxtrot, copy that, thanks.
I believe the danger is past. You can switch it off, come out and make the truck safe. Over.
Once the officer in charge has given the all clear, the crew should switch off the emergency sprays. Check the outside situation by raising the blind in the mid-deck door, and if clear, exit the truck with caution. The crew should then secure the truck, replace the caps over the tyre sprays, and then secure the area immediately around the truck.